Hello, thank you very much for sending me your recordings of your performances of your great pieces. They are coming along really nicely. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm just going to kind of give some specific bits of feedback and suggestions and such through them each in turn. And how I'm going to do this is going to be very different for each of the three pieces based on what I want to kind of help you kind of work on and improve on. I'm going to go in the reverse order that I listened to them for some reason. Starting with the Sparrow. So very good. The articulation, the dynamics, the kind of touch in this were really good. It sounds delicate and bird-like. If you were playing this too heavy or missing out loads of the staccatos, it wouldn't sound kind of springy and sort of happy enough. It would sound a bit clunky, like a bird that was too heavy to fly. However, there are a few wrong notes in this. And I'm going to be a bit mean. I'm not going to tell you what they are, but I'm going to tell you where they are, because I want you to go back to the score and have a little look at it. So the first one are the chords on the first cadence. So at the end of the second line, da 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 da, where that first section ends, have another look at the left-hand chords there. Secondly, in the middle bit, that was all fine generally, but there are a couple of bits where you're missing out what the left hand does. I don't know whether that was just because you haven't practiced them in there lately, or that was a sort of just a mental slip when you were practicing. But watch out for your chords in the middle bit there. And final bit, just have another look at the notes on those last few bars, where those accidentals, those flats creep in. Just have another look there. Like I say, this is a bit mean of me, but I want you to spot the things rather than me sort of spell it out for you. Still got bags of time before we have to send the video, so it's all good. That's really all I wanted to say about Sparrow, which I think is why I got it out of the way first. Almost a Canon, coming along really well. Two things I think you need to work on this. Two main things are the connectivity. So joining. This is a really hard piece to join section to section on, because although it is kind of in sections, they just sort of flow from one to the other, and the right hand starts a section at the different time the left hand starts a section, because by definition the piece is structured in such a way that the left hand is always a couple of beats behind the right hand. So there's no point really where you can slice the music down, both hands, and say, right, they're both starting a section here. Well, almost no point. So it's hard to kind of join the sections together because they don't cleanly start at the same time. But where I'm talking about is, for example, at the end of bar 8 and at the beginning of bar 17. So after the... that bit there. I think you need to just practice small sections of this to get the joins. So I would go for, and actually this is a good way of killing two birds with one stone, because the other thing I was going to say about this is the dynamics, but you can actually tackle both of these issues at once, because the main dynamic bits to watch out for are when it suddenly drops to piano, when it suddenly goes to P. So for example at the end of bar 6, and notice those notes are both staccato. So I would just practice that from the P, because it's a good way of practicing getting it nice and quiet, so you get that contrast when you join it all back together again, of going from forte to piano. And then the same on the last line, so where we at the end of bar 15, staccato notes, nice and quiet, now joining it to the ending. Lovely writ at the end, make it nice and slow. So yeah, those piano bits where it's quiet are the bits that join into those tricky next bits. So remember, when you're practicing, you shouldn't just be playing stuff all the way through. That's not practice, that's playing. Practice is like pulling it apart, doing things like this. So that's the first thing I would do. Just work on the P bits going into the bar or two afterwards. So that bit, all nice and quiet, and on the last line. And so on and so on. That's pretty much it, because those are the main two things. for now anyway, those are the two things I want you to sort of focus on in this. Like I said, a really good reason that these video things will work is it gives you can re-watch this, so you can kind of remember what was he on about, what was he suggesting with that, you can check that out. Also, it means I can demonstrate things and you've got a permanent record of them, but it also gives us the advantage that you can work on this in parts of your practice, and then in other parts of your practice we can kind of do new stuff, and that's what we'll focus mainly on in the lessons. So from now on, I'll maybe get you to go through your pieces once in the lessons, but we are going to focus mainly on new stuff just to kind of keep it fun and interesting for you. And we'll kind of, I'll teach you through the videos, if you see what I mean, to, you know, in terms of getting your pieces to the final kind of level of awesome. Shepherd's Melody, on the whole, good. Two things with this, a little thing and a big thing. The little thing is the middle bit, where we've got. You just want to try. You want to try and get that articulation in the left hand a little bit more how it's written, because we've got the line dot dot line dot dot starting in bar 17. Remember, the line means held, the dot obviously means staccato, so they're the complete opposite of each other. So we've got kind of da 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 da. Your rhythm's perfect. There's nothing wrong with the rhythm there at all. But all of those chords sounded a bit. They were all sort of said the same. They were all articulated the same. So you can get that a little more. It just gives it a bit more liveliness, I suppose. The big thing there with this one that we need to work on is getting that timing right in the gloomy bits, the starting bit, the minor bit, because it's still sounding a bit like it's in the wrong time signature. So I'm going to demonstrate it on the video so that you can kind of play it back. What I'd like you to try and do is play along with me playing it, because I think that will really help you get into a good thing in the bomb. And I'm going to play those initial chords really softly. That's the other thing. You need to kind of, that's a really hard introduction to the piece. It's not hard to play. You can sight read it. It's just that chord 4 times. But musically, that's really hard because it can easily sound boring. It's just like, yeah, you can play chords. But to make that kind of sound expressive in some way, you need to kind of think a little bit more creatively. I would have it starting really quiet and fading in. You want to kind of make it sound, think of it as being like the beginning of a really sort of atmospheric play or something, where the curtains have gone back and there's loads of dry ice on the stage, and an actor or an actress sort of walks out and doesn't say anything, and all the audience are just kind of waiting for that first line or something like that. Or like when you're at a gig and the lights go down and the sort of background music just dies away, and you're just kind of waiting, just anticipating for the band to come out or the band start. You need to give that kind of impression. So just with those chords, just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just a little bit of a crescendo through them will just make them less boring. And it's not your fault they're boring. You didn't write the piece, but as the musician, as the person actually making the music come to life, it's your job to kind of think about how you can do what the score is saying, but make it awesome as well. So I'm going to play through that section with the annoying counting for the first bit, and I want you to kind of practice along to this bit of the video. So remember, we're going in threes here: 6, 8, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let me start that again. That was appalling. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Loud. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Quiet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Loud. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And so on and so on and so on. that's there are a couple of other tiny suggestions which I think which would make that piece even more awesome, but I'm not going to include them on this video because I just want you to address that sort of main area first with the rhythm and that slightly less important area of the articulation in the happy bit. Good stuff. I will see you tomorrow and enjoy the rest of your day. Good stuff. Bye for now.